Did the religion founded by the prophet Zarathustra have an influence on the theology of the Second Temple Judaism during the time of the Achaemenid Empire's rule over Babylonia, Judea, and Israel? Okay, so you had the first temple that was founded by Solomon, the Temple of Solomon, right? Solomon lived around 900 AD, 900 BC or thereabouts, somewhere around that time, and he had built this big temple. And then the Jews, they were conquered by Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. What did I say? Nebuchadnezzar? What is that? Nebuchadnezzar is what the British or the English like to call him. Let's Google this. Nebuchadnezzar the second. So, if you Google the guy's name, it will say Nebuchadnezzar. See. Nebuchadnezzar. His actual name was Nebuchadnezzar. That's what the Persians called him. Nebuchadnezzar. But the British, the English have to call him Nebuchadnezzar because you have to mangle all indigenous names, right? Anyhow, Nebuchadnezzar the second was the great ruler of Babylon, okay, of the Babylonian dynasty. And he had conquered Judea. He had conquered the Jewish lands. When did this happen? 597 BC, 589 BC, around that time. There were two conquests. And after the second conquest, Nebuchadnezzar enslaved a large number of the Jewish people and brought them to Babylon as captives. And this captivity lasted at least 50 years. Around 50 years. So the Jews had to live in Babylonia, and they wrote this great this great passage, right? By the rivers of Babylon, we remember Zion, or something like that. And there's this pop band called Boney M that converted that into a pop song. By the rivers of Babylon, we remembered Zion, or something like that. So for 50 years, the Jews were in captivity in Babylon and in other parts of the Babylonian Empire. And that was the deal. So Nebuchadnezzar was this great evil Babylonian king who did that. Now, eventually, Nebuchadnezzar was defeated by Kurush, the great Persian emperor. And Cyrus the Great. You want to use a Greek name? Cyrus the Great. His actual name was Kurush. So Kurush defeated Nebuchadnezzar. He took over the Babylonian Empire. He freed the Jews and gave them permission to go back to Judea. So they go back to Judea, and Judea by this time is part of the Persian Empire also, because he has conquered all of that. So the Jews are finally able to return to Judea. And they obviously see Kurush as a great benefactor, as a great, generous, benevolent king. And they became influenced by the religion that Kurush practiced, which was Zarathustra's religion, a quasi-inversion of the Vedic religion, right? That's what Zarathustra practiced. So that's what Kurush practiced. So the Judaism is obviously a monotheistic religion. It's the original monotheistic religion, the original Abrahamic religion. And this became influenced by the various elements of Zoroastrianism. For example, Zoroastrianism is a polytheistic religion, first of all. Today, many Zoroastrians themselves believe it's a monotheistic religion, which is a lie. Zoroastrianism has this concept of a supreme deity called Ahura Mazda. And there is this shadow deity, the mirror opposite of Ahura Mazda, that is Angra Mainyu. That's the evil one, right? So you have a good versus bad duality in Zoroastrianism, but you also have other divinities like the Yazatas. You also have the Devas, who are the bad guys now, and so on. So you've got these multiple levels of divinities in Zoroastrianism. So the Jews, they took some of those concepts, those polytheistic concepts, but they converted those into monotheistic concepts. The Yazatas, they were these divinities, these gods, they were converted into the angels of Judaism. Angels. So the angels are not gods. They are beings with some aspect of divinity bestowed upon them by the great Yahweh, right? So they took that from Zoroastrianism, the concept of these secondary gods, but they converted those into angels. So we only have one God, we only believe in one God, and these angels are beings that God has blessed with certain extra powers, but they're not gods. So we are still monotheistic. But they borrowed that from Zoroastrianism. Secondly, the concept of paradise. So the word paradise apparently has a Persian origin. It means a walled garden of sorts, something like that. So apparently even this concept has been taken from Zoroastrianism. I'm not sure if Zoroastrianism has this concept of paradise. I'm not sure about that. But they took this word paradise from the Persian language, and they said that, after death, you go to paradise or you go to hell, that sort of thing. So some of these concepts have been taken from Zoroastrianism, but they have been incorporated into a monotheistic religion, Judaism. So yeah, there is definitely a Zoroastrian influence on Judaism.